All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of The Potential Project. I'm your host, Sean Calhoun, and if you're here, it's because you're ready to reduce stress, burn stubborn fat, and get your body working with you instead of against you. On this podcast, we're all about simple, no BS strategies for fitness, nutrition, and lifestyle. This way, you can feel strong, confident, and in control. I'll give you the tools, mindset shifts, and habits to help you look and feel your best without spending hours in the gym or stressing over every single meal. Now, let's get into it. All right, welcome back, everybody, and I'm your host, Sean Calhoun. Thank you for joining me on another episode of The Potential Project. Now, today, what I want to ask you to do is just to sit back and relax and observe what's going on. Now, you might be driving, you might be exercising or walking. That's okay. But my point is today is not going to be one of those episodes where we are sitting here taking rigorous notes. We just want to be in the moment. We want to be present and we want to observe what's happening and what thoughts come up as we go about in this episode. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today is presence. Now, I was having a conversation with a client last week, and the conversation, I don't know how it got into this, but I just brought up this quote that I heard from someone, and I don't know who to give this credit to, but the quote was, "You are a human being, not a human doing." Now, maybe there's multiple people who have used this quote in different ways, shapes, and forms, but it really hit home for me, and I try to bring myself back to this thought of the fact that we are a human being, not a human doing. Because we catch ourselves doing, right? Especially if you live in America, we are almost, you are praised on how much that you can accomplish and do, and how productive are you being, and how much hard work are you doing during the day. So we get celebrated for doing. Now, I want to bring a scenario into this conversation and just see if this hits home for you or if this sounds like your day at all, right? So the alarm goes off. We immediately grab our phone and maybe we're checking text messages, we're checking emails and popping on social media just to see what others are doing. That's while we're lying in bed. Then you grab your phone with you and you take it into the bathroom and you're scrolling as you brush your teeth, right? You're on TikTok, you're on Instagram, you're on Facebook, whatever it is, you're kind of catching up. Then maybe you throw on some music while you're in the shower to get you in a good mood. So you're doing that, right? Then you hop out of the shower, you put your clothes on, you are getting in the car to go to work. So then you set up a podcast or you set up an audiobook or you play your favorite Spotify playlist to go to work, right? And then while you're at work, you're listening to music or maybe you're listening to a podcast there. And then in your breaks from your calls or your meetings or the work you're doing, you're popping back on social media, right? Then you go throughout work and you're driving home. And again, that playlist comes back on or another podcast comes back on. We get home, we're relaxing, we're watching an episode of TV while you're eating dinner. And then, you're on the couch, you're relaxing, you're watching a movie or another episode. And then when it's time to go to bed, we're scrolling on our phones and then we're checking up on what was happening throughout the day. And then we finally put our phone down, set our alarm, and go to sleep. Now, that was a very abbreviated version of the day, but I just want to get the point home here, right? If that sounds at all remotely like your day, just acknowledge what you're doing. You are being distracted all day long from music, from podcasts, from audiobooks, from TV, from you name it, from social media. We are being distracted at every shape, every turn, every thing that we're doing. We can easily be disrupted and distracted from what we're doing. So this episode is an episode for you to just be, right? We don't have to be doing anything. I just want you to be. So be present, observe how you feel, observe what thoughts come up, and just hear me out. So the first thing I want to talk about is the problem with constant doing, right? You see, a lot of times in life, we are just focused on getting our checklist done. We have our to-do list. We have our key performance indicators, those KPIs, right? We have the things that are moving the needle in our life, in our business, in our relationship, in our health, and that's all we're ever focused on. It's just doing. Now, a lot of women might be listening to this, and I see a lot of women getting praised for being productive, for being selfless, and for being busy. But the problem is that it's burning them out, right? We get a round of applause for how busy you are. A lot of women get thrown into this box where they need to care for others, their children, their husband, their parents, right? And they're being selfless. And yes, being selfless is, noble, right? But it's the way that you're doing the selfless acts, right? If you're being selfless out of generosity and, prioritizing yourself, but also giving for others, that's good. But a lot of times we just get thrown into just totally disregarding ourselves and being selfless and productive and busy. But the problem with this, like I said, is it is burning them out, right? We've learned that to override things like hunger, exhaustion, and intuition, we just make ourselves busy, right? Like you'll hear people all the time that they didn't eat lunch. They just forgot. They were just working, right? So we've just overrided that feeling. Like you no longer have the hunger hormone because you're so focused on what you're doing at work. Or you are dead tired and we don't really realize it, that your body needs a break, or your body needs to not work out that day, or your body needs to just go for a walk, or it might need a little longer sleep, or whatever it is, but we override that, right? So we are no longer in tune with what the signals are from our body that are trying to lead us towards our best life. And the other one that we ignore is intuition. Now, intuition comes in many different forms. You can call it many different things, right? You might call it the angel on your shoulder, or the devil on your shoulder, or your gut, or a knowing, right? But either way, everyone has an intuition where it's trying to lead you towards what you want, right? Like if you've ever sat down and dreamt of something, or you have these visions of like what your life could be, that's not by accident. That's God, the universe, whoever you believe in, trying to show you what's possible in your life. And then it's guiding you there through your intuition. So if you ever have this gut instinct to go do something or call someone or to take a certain action, it's trying to lead you down that path. So the goal in silencing the noise is so that we can get back to our intuition and allowing ourselves to step into our greater purpose and our greater self, right? But the issue that I see is that a lot of health advice is just about more doing, right? More workouts, more rules around your food, more rigorous schedules, and just doing. How can we pack more into our day? And now this isn't me saying, hey, we need to give up our workouts. We need to just say screw it to whatever we're eating and not have a schedule. That is not what I'm saying. I think we need to prioritize time management and priority management and have some type of, standards in place when it comes to those things. But the advice that you're getting is a lot of times to just do more and that you're not doing enough. Whereas if we work smarter, like for example, your schedule. I've gotten to a point where I look at my schedule on Sundays, I look at the week, and then day to day, I also look at my schedule and see how I'm allocating each hour of each time to what I'm doing. Now, my schedule looks more full, but let me show you how this plays into this episode. If you looked at my calendar, it's pretty, full of things that I'm doing, and it's blocked off, and there's not much like gray space in between to just do, right? Now you might say, Sean, that's you doing more. No, that's me being structured with my time, because guess what? I was doing something always, but if my schedule had like 2 things on it, that free space, I was doing things to try to be productive, but it wasn't getting me anywhere. So I was still doing the same amount of work, but I wasn't doing anything with it. Now, when I know, okay, from 9 to 10, I have a client. From 10 to 10:30, I'm filming content. From 10:30 to 11, I'm eating breakfast or whatever, or lunch or whatever it is. When the schedule looks like that, what it does is allows me to be present. And that's the point in this whole episode, is that instead of just doing a bunch of random things and being distracted by the noise, being fully present in what you do. So when I have my schedule, like right now, at this current moment, I'm filming this podcast. I'm not doing anything else. I'm not checking emails. I don't have any clients. I don't have any calls that I'm expecting, right? So that I can be fully present with you here in this episode, instead of worrying about, oh my gosh, what's my schedule look like later? Like I already know, because I saw last night what my day looks like for today. I know exactly where I have to be, and I can be totally present. And when you are present, you get more out of the thing that you're doing. If I were trying to write an email right now or schedule out
clients or do anything else while I was trying to do this episode, I would sound like a blabbering idiot, right? I wouldn't even know. You would see me trying to do multiple things and it wouldn't be good at all, right? So that's the point and the power of being present. So the real healing comes from slowing down, right? We don't need to do less per se. We need to slow down and analyze where we're at. So sometimes it does revolve around doing less. Sometimes it revolves around being more structured. Sometimes it revolves around taking a step back, analyzing what your body needs, and taking action from there. So why does being present actually heal your body and actually make you get more progress over time? So here's a simple example that I like to give for people is eating, right? If you found yourself eating in your car or standing up or eating at your desk while you're working, your body is not able to process the food properly and digest the way it needs to. Whereas if you were to get your meal and you sit down in a chair in a comfortable space that there's not too much going on and you're not on your phone, you're not on your computer, you're not talking on the phone, you're not listening to a podcast, you are there with your food, right? You just heated it up and you're smelling the smell. So now your body is stimulating saliva and it's preparing itself for digestion, right? Digestion happens in a lot of different ways. You know, your eyes, you're seeing the food, you're smelling the food, you're touching it, you're feeling it, you're experiencing all your senses. And then as you're eating, you're in a calm, relaxed state. You're not trying to do 10 million things. You're chewing your food thoroughly, right?
Hey, hope you're loving the episode so far. Thanks for spending some time with me. I got a quick favor to ask. Make sure you're subscribed to the podcast because that's how I know you're getting value from the show. And this way, you never miss an episode. All right, now back to the show.
So that your body's preparing itself for digestion. So you're breaking the food down. You're getting to know the textures of the food, the taste of the food. Then you are able to swallow calmly, right? And you're eating your food. So a couple things happen. Your body is more fully prepared for digestion. And because you're chewing your food and you're taking your time, the signal that comes from your body to say that you're starting to get full, you're in tune with that, right? You're not just blocking it out and eating and eating and eating. Your body's saying, you know what? I think I'm done here. I'm starting to get full. I'm feeling, like I've got enough nutrients from this meal. And maybe you don't eat the whole entire plate if it was going to be too much for you. Or you didn't pack enough and you're eating and you're like, wow, I need more protein. That was not enough food for me. It wasn't satiating enough. You start to get in tune with what's going on. So just in that simple example, we can see how being present with your meal can help heal you and start to improve your health outcomes. Another one is cortisol. We talk about cortisol a lot, how that it can be dysregulated. It can be high in times when it shouldn't. It can be low in times when it shouldn't. It can be chronically dysregulated throughout the day. And that's a problem, right? That leads to burnout. That leads to fatigue. That leads to you just you're at work and you need the third or fourth cup of coffee just to get through that last meeting of the day and finally be done. Well, cortisol gets regulated when you're able to breathe and ground yourself. So a day that involves maybe you go outside in the morning and get your feet in the dirt or the grass and you're looking up at the sky and you're just being present with that time. That tells your body and your cortisol levels that it should be higher. It's time to wake up. It's time to have energy for the day, right? At nighttime, you can do some deep breathing techniques to calm your nervous system down and let it know it's okay, it's safe. It is time to get ready for bed and lower your cortisol. So simply being present with yourself there enables your body to regulate its cortisol, right? Your mood shifts, right? You're able to sleep deeply and track how you feel, not just what you do, right? So when you're getting a good night's sleep and you're present with that and you're preparing for it, then you're in a better mood. You're not groggy. You're not irritable. And then the rest of the day improves as well. So the other point is that your nervous system, which regulates your energy, all of that, is listening to you, right? So it's listening, and are you giving it what it needs? Your body's trying to send you signals through maybe symptoms, hormone imbalances, like you're starting to feel things in your body, a rush of energy, a depletion of energy, irritability, bloating, right? Your nervous system is sending you signals, but when you're present, you can listen to it. So if you're overstimulated and you can feel like the tension in your face, like your blood pressure's rising, and you can, pause, take a few deep breaths, and listen to what your body needs, you can then take corrective action to continue to heal your body, right? So what are some things that we can do to start taking action on this? And again, don't write these down. I don't want you to be, hyper aware and like doing a million different things and thinking you have to take notes. I want you to just be present and listen to this and allow it to click mentally. And if you want to go back and listen again and write these things down or what have you, then fine. But one of the things that I have my clients do is with their food, right? I know a lot of people talk about tracking food and writing your macros and your calories, and that has a time and a place. But a big thing that I want people to do is to track how you're feeling after you eat, right? When you eat food, do you have energy? Are you bloated? How's your mood? Are you satiated? This is allowing yourself to be in tune with your body and be present. So you just ate a food, you just ate a meal, and then about an hour or two later, you're checking in and you're like, wow, I am really beat down, tired. I feel like I need a nap. That's allowing you to understand that the food that you ate is not serving you, because food should be fuel, it should be nutritious, and it should give you energy, it should make you feel satiated, and it should put you in a good mood, not have you be irritable. So if any of those things are off, you can say, okay, I had this for lunch, let me make an adjustment and see how I feel next time. But if every time that you're eating, you're scrolling on social media, or you're driving in a car, or something's going on, you're not able to sit back and be in tune with what's going on and how that food's making an impact for you. So that's one example. Another example is to journal your sleep / your mood in the morning, right? Did I feel rested? Did I feel like I just got hit by a truck? Like, do I feel like my body needs oxygen? How do you feel when you wake up? Because then you can say, well, if I'm really not feeling refreshed in the morning, then maybe you need to make it cooler in your room. Maybe you need to make it darker in your room. Things and adjustments that you can make because you're being aware to it, right? If you're like, ooh, my lower back is not feeling the best. I notice that when I wake up in the morning. And then you can figure out, hey, maybe I just need to put a pillow in between my knees or underneath my knees to give my lower back that support. And you can make that adjustment. Another thing you can do is practice 3 to 5 minutes of distraction-free eating. Like I said before in the other example, maybe it's not every meal, maybe it's not the entire meal, but maybe you're like, you know what? Sean was talking about being calm and present while I'm eating. So I'm going to take the first 3 minutes of while I'm eating to chew my food thoroughly, to smell it, to understand the textures, and see if I can get the most out of this experience and just be calm and present with my food. Right? The reason why I'm telling you these things and having these be your action steps is because even though this podcast is about pursuing your full potential, and we talk about mindset, we talk about actions, we talk about health, we talk about all these things, if we are able to be present and listen to our body, we're able to then become the best doctor for ourselves. Now, again, I'm not saying we never need to go to the doctors. There's technology and medicine and machines and things that we need to take advantage of. But what I'm trying to say is the more in tune you can get with your body, the better you're able to take action to heal it and to keep it feeling optimized. So if you know how well you sleep and what are the things that allow you to get the best sleep that you can, you don't always need a tracker tracking your sleep every night. And if you know how you feel after you eat and you can make some adjustments to make your body have energy and feel full and feel good, then you don't always need to track every single thing that you put in your mouth, right? You see where I'm going with this? Is that you can get coaches for your health. You can get personal trainers. You can look online. You can go through programs, and you should. But over time, we need to take this information and start to utilize us being present and us understanding how it's impacting our body so that we can then go and live our best life. You shouldn't always need someone telling you what to do, how to act, what actions to take. You start to learn as you go through this process. So if you've listened to me, maybe I've given you some good tips and things that have impacted your life for the better, and that's great. But if you're not analyzing how they're impacting you, well, then you're never going to either keep up with that habit or be able to make adjustments for the better, right? And the last thing that I kind of want to bring to your attention is that the present moment is where the change happens, right? So like I said, I give you those little things to track your food, track your sleep, track your workouts. Does your body need to push harder today or does it need to just go for a walk? You're tracking those things. You're understanding how your body feels and is responding to the stimuli. You're sitting and being more present with while you're eating, right? You're doing those things. That's great. But notice when you're acknowledging them is you being present in the moment. That's happening at that very moment. It can't happen in the future. It can't happen in the past. And another thing that kind of like shook my mind a little bit was the fact someone said this. They said, when you are thinking about the past, you're thinking about it in this present moment. When you are visualizing or dreaming about the future, you're visualizing it in this present moment. So there is no past, there is no future. There's only right now. So if you can accept that and say, how do I move the noise, get the distractions out of here, and be fully present in what I'm doing, then you get back to living your life, you get back to learning how to heal your body, and you get back to optimizing what you're trying to do for the future. So when you're visualizing, if you have this goal and this dream and this outcome that you'd like to achieve, and you're really clear on that, you've journaled it, you've visualized it, well then guess what? If that's in your mind and the action steps that you take towards your best health, let's say, maybe that's a visualization for you. You're like, I want to be at this weight, I don't want to have bloating, I want to have energy. These are your goals for your health. Great. So from the visualization, you got some coaching, you learned, here's the couple steps that can lead me towards that. And you learn that we need to improve our gut health so that our bloating goes away. But you're still distracted while you're eating your meals. It's not going to improve your digestion. It's not going to improve your gut health. Therefore, you'll still have the bloating. So this whole time you're visualizing what you want in the future, but you're not being present while you're taking the actions, and it's not going to lead you directly towards that end result. So what I'm trying to say is, that's all good. Have your goals set up. But while you're taking the actions, let them compound even more by being present. While you're in your workout, understand which muscles am I engaging? How am I breathing? How is my body moving in space? Therefore, the time spent during exercise will yield a better result than if you were distracted or doing some, half workout, right? Where you're not even really giving it your all, you're not paying attention, and you're just going through the motions. You're not going to get the most out of that. While you're eating, you're being present, you're bettering your digestion and your nutrient absorption. While can't really be present while you're sleeping because you're kind of unconscious, but preparing for that and doing these things, you're being more present, you're getting more juice for the squeeze. Therefore, that's going to compound, that's going to add up over time, and then the result that you're looking for will either come sooner, you're going to attain that sooner, or you're going to be more fulfilled when you finally get there, right? So I just want to wrap up with saying that you're not a machine. Just remind yourself that we're not a machine. You're not here to constantly just perform and be on. We are here as human beings to feel, to connect, and to live. Right? The whole point in optimizing what we're doing and learning and bettering our health is so that we can get the most out of our life. But if you're constantly worried about the next thing, you're never actually living. So I just, want to remind you, maybe take some time today, maybe take a minute, maybe, while you're driving home, you're breathing, or at nighttime, you're just taking a minute to feel your body, right? Take some deep breaths, tune in. That's why I love breathing exercises and meditation, because it forces you to just be present. So again, if you want to write any of this down, if any of this hit home with you, maybe you listen again. But I really appreciate you just being able to sit, listen to this, and understand where I'm coming from, that if you are feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling burnt out, if you're feeling like you're not getting the most out of the things and the actions that you're taking, it could likely be because you're not even being present while you're doing them. So you don't want to blink your eyes and say, oh my gosh, look how old I am. Oh my gosh, can't believe where the time went. It's going to happen no matter what. Time is going to pass. You're going to become older. We're getting older every second, every day. So why not take this moment to be present with what you're doing and see how many times we can check in with ourselves throughout the day and get more out of what you're doing in this life. If this resonated with you guys, please share it with a friend. Please tell someone about it. And more importantly, do the things, right? Take the action, be present while you're doing it, because if you can improve your life, then it's gonna make all of this worthwhile. I love spreading the show. I love helping people. But if you take action and you take responsibility over your life, then it makes it worth it for me. So thank you guys. Thank you for listening. I will see you next week.
Hey, thanks for spending some time with me on today's episode. I hope you got a ton of value from it. If we're not connected on Instagram yet, let's change that. Hit me up at Sean Calhoun _. That's SEAN Calhoun _. Shoot me a DM. Let me know what you think of the show or if you got any questions about how to level up your health. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you on the next episode.